The one thing I want to touch on today is work and like how I trained myself to work when I was away for all them years. I said, I wasn't ever used to working for nobody for long periods of time, especially like 9 to 5, whatever time of the day it was. I didn't like it, so I knew when I was down. I said the best thing for me to do is to train my brain to read the tracks on the brain. Every time you have a fear factor of something, you immediately go back to what you're used to. So that's those tracks on the brain. So when I learned about, those tracks and how the brain, is really a physical thing, I said, all right, well, I'm going to retrain my brain to always think about working. When times get rough, it's always just work. So I did that. I worked for years and years, and now sometimes I wonder, man, am I a little bit crazy? Because all I do is I go to work, I come home, I work out, eat, shower, and go to sleep and go back to work the next day. And I work like 12 hours a day. So, so I wonder, like, am I, is there something wrong with me now, or did I train myself properly? So that was one of the things that was weighing on me yesterday. I didn't get on here to put this up yesterday, but I said I gotta make sure I do it today. I want to be consistent with this. Uh, but now today's events, you know, for people, if an individual is about to get out, whether you're watching this or you're someone that can talk to them and say, hey, when it comes to relationships, I think for a lot of people, is being down for a while, it's better to come out single, and not so you can run around with different women and whatnot. It's more so you can get in touch with yourself, because when someone is in prison, it's a different reality. We see things differently. We have ideas, and not saying none of these ideas will come to fruition. It's just when the individual is out here, it's a difference. It's difference. Here's an example. They say out of sight, out of mind. So when I was in prison, people was like, oh, I didn't hear nothing from a lot of people. Most people that I knew, I hear nothing from them. But when I came home, there's people like, hey man, I was waiting for you to get out. I'm like, what? I ain't hear from you all those years. I mean, how are you waiting on me to get out? So another example would be how people, they'll talk to you all the time when you're home, call you or whatever, but locked up. You can even have a cell phone while locked up. I'm not saying you're supposed to. I'm saying that if an individual has a phone while they're locked up, all the people that can reach out to them, chances are they're not reaching out to them. Why? Because you can't do nothing for them. Now, if the individual can do something for them, of course they're gonna reach out. So it's just that love has limits. The person will think about you in thought, how they feel about you, and what they want from you, whether it be relationship, money, whatever the case is. But that don't mean they're gonna reach out to you. That don't mean they're gonna write you a letter. So when it comes to people being in prison, the reality is different, because we come with all these little ideas, things we're gonna do when we get home. Then when you get here, a lot of things don't go as planned, because certain things, you felt that passion while in there, but out here it's like, you start to see other things. You're like, man, that doesn't even seem like it can happen. So, but that doesn't mean it can't happen. It's just things are different when you touch down. So when it comes to relationships, if you knew someone and everything was excellent, that's okay. When you touch down, if a lot of time passed, I mean, they were talking to you for who you were in the past. Uh, but both mindsets have changed, and it could be a drastic change. So you were talking to them about what the way you knew them, and they were also talking to you the way they knew you, even though it was every day to day, and you were conversating in and out with this woman or man or whatever. When you get home, there's certain things, a whole bunch of gaps that were missed. So now you start to learn this person. And now I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm saying for the majority of people, it's probably better to just stay singles. That way you can learn yourself. You learn yourself, and also that individual learns what it is they really want from you, if they really want to be with you, because now they get to see the new things that you've uh, brought about, and or certain things that you may not do anymore that they like. So, give yourself time. It's not really a time frame. It could be 90 days, it could be 6 months, it could be a couple years. And that's not saying you got to go bouncing around from person to person. You don't have to do it with anybody. You just spend time with yourself. Go out with some friends or whatever. Stuff like that. Not necessarily drink or anything, because that's actually pointless, a waste of time. But yeah, just learn yourself. Learn what you really want out of life, and all those ideas that you had. Certain things now, if people aren't getting in the way of those, you're not allowing that to happen. And with that, I mean, you can say, okay, I like this type of person. I want these qualities A, B, C, and D, and now you can really find a person that has those qualities versus forcing that relationship that you thought would be a good relationship. And again, maybe it will be, but it's probably better to give it time so you can really get to know each other. And I mean, this is a hard one, but don't even have sex with that person. I mean, hey, that's probably nobody's gonna listen to that, but that, because that connection, that unless there's an agreement, this is what we're gonna do, but we're not gonna have a relationship until we both get to know each other. We're not gonna spend every day with each other. You're gonna live your life, and I'm gonna live mine. You'll see what I'm doing. I'll see what you're doing. We will come together if that's what looks like it's the best option to happen. It's the best thing to happen. But if not, it's okay. Now you don't waste time being with somebody that is really not worth your time, and you're not worth their time. If there's no yin yang, then there's no point. So with that, I don't know. Tomorrow's Friday, so who knows? There's always something to say every day, so I'll figure something out, whatever's going on, like I said, in my day. Because most days I do relate things. Even when I'm talking to myself, I relate things to things I learned while incarcerated, because I did like a lot of programming. I was even in one program for 13 months. It was a cognitive thinking program, RDAP. So I learned a lot, so it's not just reading books. I read a lot of books, but that program there, it had to live in the environment, and it was not like the place that I took this program at was one of the hardest places to take it at, and yeah, I got a lot out of that. So my day to day, I relate things that I've learned there. I relate things that I've read in books, from different writers like Napoleon Hill. I can't even think, and I'm not good with names, but there's a lot of books that I read. Not just like a self-help book, but like books that wouldn't be considered necessarily self-help, because they don't have like the 1, 2, 3 type instructions, but they are self-help because they're a lot about introspective. I learn how the brain works, upper thalamus, lower thalamus, all types of stuff. Things that I can utilize in my day to day. So, like I said, if you have any questions, concerns, send me a message and I'll, answer your question. Until tomorrow, this is one in the wake up.